As a former Arsenal manager would say, good evening. It is Friday night football, and we are here at Vicarage Road. The team news has just come out as I talk right now. 7 o'clock, ahead of the hour, we have to wait until the kickoff between Watford, the Hornets, against Norwich, the Canaries. Now, I'm sure if you haven't already, do check out you probably have seen it, preview of this game that I did, basically talking through how big of a match this is, right? But now we've arrived in Watford. Now we're just close to Vicarage Road. It is starting to get real. This is a game we simply have to get at Norwich. No sitting back. I mean, look, if Bachmann is starting tonight, which I've heard some people whispering.
No.
Is he?
Yet. No news yet.
No news yet? Because I've heard some people saying Bachmann could start, and I've got Foster in my fantasy team, so I'll be fuming if that happens. Maybe the thinking could be, if that happens, that we're trying to, either Foster's got an injury or we're trying to manage them between the two games. But there is a big week between our game today and a game against Burnley. Is Bachmann in goal?
Yeah.
He is. Bachmann is in goal. Wow. Foster, I shouldn't have put him as my goalkeeper, but we had to back it, didn't we? We thought Foster would play both games, and David De Gea is now going to get a penalty save. Obviously, he's sitting on my bench.
Foster's not even on the bench, so he must be injured.
He's not even on the bench, so he's got to be injured. That's a real shock. Not sure how I feel about that, because I was looking forward to seeing the cycling GK today. Bachmann's still not done too badly, but yeah, that's a real shocker. We couldn't have predicted that one.
Interesting team as
but
well.
In terms of the Cabaselli, what? Okay, back four. What are we saying? What are we saying for the back four?
So the back four is Kiko Femenia, Cabaselli, Samir, and Kamara.
Okay, that's fine. But where is Craig Cathcart? That's what I want to know.
Must be injured, I suppose, or is he on the bench? No, not on the bench. So
okay,
COVID or injured.
Okay, brilliant. Midfield.
Midfield: Sissoko, Kayembe, and Cleverly.
Get in. That's the exact midfield I predicted on my Twitter. That's what I wanted to see. Cleverly, he did it against Norwich in the reverse fixture. He took this game by the scruff of the neck. Hopefully he does it again. And Kayembe was class against Newcastle. Sissoko is always the captain. Forward line:
Emmanuel Dennis, Joshua King, João Pedro.
Right, so I'm happy with that team. 9 out of 10. I will say 9 out of 10 only because I'm not happy about the goalkeeping situation. I'll take Cabaselli. Him and Cathcart are pretty interchangeable most weeks. Obviously, Cabaselli's not played for a long time, so I'm worried that he's going to be thrown in and he's going to be a bit, not very, he's not going to fit in naturally. But I do feel he is good enough and just as good as Cathcart to basically cause Pukki some problems. And look, in that OG season of 18-19 under Javi Gracia, those were the two centre-backs. So they are just as good as each other, in my opinion. But obviously, Cabaselli, he's thrown into it, which is not what I expect for a big game like this. You know, a player that's not been playing recently. But, you know, needs must. Sia Router on the bench, interesting as well, because Sia Router's not been great this season, it's got to be said. But we know he can get to much better heights, as we saw in the previous season. Sia Router is on his day class. It's not been his season so far, so he needs to kind of get that headspace and get back in the groove. But yeah, not good for my FPL, for Foster, for sure. Glad I didn't bring in another Watford defender like Cathcart, who's not playing. But good to see Kamara is in there. Obviously, debut against Newcastle, as is Kayembe and Samir. So we're going strong with all of that. Other than Foster, I think it is pretty much our strongest team. But we know that Norwich, on their day, they'll go for it, right? They might not have as much quality going forward as us, but they still have the belief. Pukki, got to keep him quiet. We didn't do that in the game at Carrow Road. And someone like Josh Sargent and Milo Rashica can run at you, right? So we've got to get good defensively for the fullbacks. We've got to see that from Kiko tracking back and also from Kamara. But it's a biggie. It is a biggie. And I'm predicting we win. But now I've heard that team news, which I'm a bit surprised by. Let's just hope we win whatever happens, right? Even if it's nervy. Watford 2, Norwich City 0 is my prediction, with goals from Joshua King. The first goal for King, I reckon, will come with a bullet header. The second one, a fantastic volley into the top left corner. But what is your prediction?
I think 2-1.
2-1. Now you've seen that
clean
team news.
sheet, yeah.
With Bachmann in, it does make me a bit worried. It's nothing against Bachmann. I just think he's not as confident between the sticks as Ben Foster. No Cycling GK video this week for sure. 2-1. Even against Norwich, we can't get our first clean sheet. No, I could see it happen, to be fair. As long as we win, that's all that matters. Come on, you Horns. Let's go and win. Please.
We're here at Vicarage Road for the match day vlog of Watford versus Norwich. Pre-match, let's do this. You won! We've got the pyrotechnics out for this one. You won! Come on! Yeah. Come on, Watford. 0-0 still. Let's pull our socks up now. Come on. First half was an interesting one. Very clear to see both sides can feel a bit of tension in the air. Not a lot of quality from either. But this is the second half to take it to them now. Started to build something encouraging in the first half. Just took the second half of that first half. Norwich started the better, but we got back into it, and not many chances, but some good build-up play. Just that final pass, the passing accuracy again needs to be better. Just build up, get it to Dennis, get it to King, get it to all our influential players, and let's get the first goal of this crucial game. Let's go! Come on, Watford!
Believe it or not, us Watford fans are still in one piece after that. Friday night football. No thanks. Play like that. That's the best we can do. Oh, I've always liked the Championship. It's finished. Regrettably, dumbfoundedly, I don't even know how I'm speaking these words, but Watford 0, Norwich City 3. Well, that was a mess. An utter mess. It's like we almost said, all right, apparently we're supposed to really pull our socks up for this game. But what we've done is we've left our socks at home and we've got them in the wrong colour wash and we've destroyed them. And now we only have no shoes to wear, so we have to go to the game barefoot. And we've basically trod on nails on the grass because we have punctured our feet. We've gone to hospital. We've had to have a operation. We've gone into a coma.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I might be exaggerating, but it feels necessary tonight because it's hard to sum up what we've just witnessed. We have lost the game by 3-0. That result sees Watford, for the first time this season, but arguably undeservedly, going into, for the first time, the relegation zone. Off the back of that, I'm sorry, putting it lightly, we deserve to be bottom, right? Because that was utterly diabolical, I think is the word. And 60th minute of the game, the lights went out, just like that FA Cup game with Leicester. And I'd prefer the lights to be out for a bit longer on. Leave us in the dark. Leave us, just sitting there, twiddling our thumbs, because it'd be much more fun than watching that. And you know what they say, ignorance is bliss and all that. But, yeah. Let's try and take it chance by chance basis. First half, there wasn't a lot, I'll be honest. Two teams that were clearly feeling the pressure of a relegation rumble. No quality from either. A lot of misplaced passes, but the most disappointing thing tonight for me was we were the home side. We came off the back of a really encouraging, fighting, comradeship shown when we were pulling together against Newcastle. But today it felt like we were all at sea. It was one man and one man for them all. There was no pulling together. There was all confusion and bewilderment. And we started off with very much being on the back foot. Norwich, I don't know what got into their, their training ground water, but they were buzzing about, right? I get they won against Everton, but come on, it's Norwich City, no disrespect, but they have been so confidence hit this season, so many defeats, not scoring enough goals, and we make them look like a team with a new lease of life. And the argument is today, it was the better team on paper, Watford, in terms of players, against the better manager, Dean Smith. And Ranieri, there is no doubt, will go down in footballing folklore for what he did at Leicester City. And he will still hold a special place in my heart as a man who has tried so much with this squad of very unfortunate and limited resource, but he can't help this team. I don't know who can, to that matter. Xisco Munoz was a manager with very little experience and very little ideas when it went wrong. We bring in the complete polar opposite to that, and still we can't solve the issue. And the argument was, I think the caveat was, oh well, Ranieri's games are much, much tougher, right? He came into a baptism of fire against Liverpool. But Liverpool, you tinge your expectation for that, because you say there's no way you're not going to lose that kind of match. So then, all right, we lose against Liverpool. Then we beat Everton, and it's like, we're back in town, right? The season starts here. That's the kind of attacking football we like to see. We know we still can't defend. Hopefully, the plan is Ranieri improves that defence, but we win. Then back to square one, Southampton. Disgusting performance in a game where Southampton were really at sea. Week after that, oh well, we've done it again. We've actually not played well enough. We've not got results, and we go on that run of Leicester, Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Manchester United. Beating Manchester United, by far the highlight of our season. But since then, I don't know what's gone wrong. I really, really don't. Brentford, waste. 1-0 up, can't defend. West Ham, tough game, but shambolic. Tottenham, determined performance, but unlucky to lose it at the last. Then, the game against Newcastle, very defensively better, and still, we grab a point when we need it. But today, it felt like we went back to the kind of levels of Southampton of Leeds away, of Liverpool, and we've done all of those performances and just found a way to make them even worse tonight. In a match we had to step up. We had to be the 12th man today, and the crowd were fantastic in the first 40 minutes. But in the second half, that Watford team came out and they were an organised mess. Not even an organised mess, a chaotic mayhem of just discombobulation. I don't even know how I'd describe that, but it was not pretty. And yeah, as I say, the lights going out just reflected Watford today. There was nothing up there. There was nothing in there, unfortunately, and nothing in those boots. It felt like we were just cruising through, and when we knew it was too late, towards the end, such an empty Vicarage Road, and we weren't even chasing back. You know, it was just hopeless. It was as if this game was all that this season had led up to, and the minute we knew we were 2-0 down, man sent off, it was like, today's not our night, and that's that. And it was no conviction to get back into it. Cucho Hernandez was brought on. I mean, it's desperate. It's desperate because what can he do? He's the only guy trying to show any urgency. He has a shot, hits a crossbar, a worldy shot, could have been a worldy goal, but obviously by that point every Watford fan rightly lost the will to live, left the stadium, and it was like, well, we've hit the bar with a worldy shot, and you wouldn't have known from the lack of, you know, crowd, because we'd lost the will, right? The defence, it's investment. It is investment. Like, we've said this since probably the 2016-17 season. We need to invest in our defence. Sebastian Prödl at the time was a good signing, right? But was he a season keeper? Was he a long-term buy? Probably not. Then we go and get someone like Miguel Britos, and well, he speaks in himself. He is lunging in, not getting tackles in, not really improving our defence. Yunus Kabul, I think that was a hopeful one, an old player who really wasn't at his peak. Then we go for someone like Christian Cabaselli, who, you know, has had good games for Watford, and Craig Cathcart. But that was the 17-18 season. Then flash forward 4 seasons later, and we're relying on that still. We've got Francisco Ciarauta, who has been a passenger this season, not even turned up really, and if he has, it's been for the other team scoring own goals. And William Troost-Ekong has been a fantastic player for Nigeria at AFCON, but of course he's not here tonight. So it feels like defensively we've just gone backwards. We've gone backwards when it felt like that was the most unlikely thing to do, when you haven't got a clean sheet all season. But we've managed it. We've managed it. So first half, all things considered, was not that bad. Just no real threat from us. No real threat from Norwich. Although, as I mentioned, Norwich started so much better in the first 15-20 minutes. And why do we do this? We take too long to even get comfortable, get warm into a game and really start playing. And that's just giving Norwich the belief that they can have a bit of fun with us, have a go at this game and toy with us. There was that chance for Norwich early on in the game, pulled back, good shot, and it just went over the crossbar. But look, too much space to get the shot away. Another chance for Watford came through Joao Pedro, and Joshua King was absolutely incandescent to see him not pass to his strike teammate, but he didn't. And also a chance for Moussa Sissoko where, look, it's so unfortunate. It comes in quickly. It's so impossible to readjust in time. It's drilled at him, but he's just not alert enough, unfortunately. And he kind of crouches down to try and direct it on target, but it's just messy and it goes wide. Oh, just not a first half to write home about from either team. So then second half, you say, okay, let's roll our socks up now. Let's get serious. This is the biggest game of probably the last 4 or 5 years for Watford. A game we had to win. And you think there'd be a second half change. Whatever Ranieri said to them, you think, okay, rock it up the backside. Now we start, right? We're on TV, we're being watched by millions of eyes. Let's at least give it a go, right? It's Norwich City, it's home, it's Watford. A team of Emmanuel Dennis, Joshua King, injured Ismail Assar, Cucho Hernandez, Joao Pedro, Musa Sissoko. These are all players who should not be in this team. Their quality that they possess does not reflect our results. But there's no point putting in these kind of quality players if they're not going to tie together to be a team and work as a unit. Second half, it felt like we were just asleep. And we saw this in the Newcastle game. Took too long to get going. ASM scores. We're on the back foot. Then we decide to playing. But the difference was today is when Norwich scored, it was like, panic stations. Because of the game of this magnitude, it's like as soon as we concede the first goal was huge. Swung the pendulum massively. But, you know, arguably Norwich, the second half, they looked better anyway. But it felt like there was no way back for us because we were just thinking, hang on, we've just conceded, not just to any old team, but to Norwich, who were exactly the team we couldn't concede to. And the goal for Sargent, I mean, it's poor defending. It's a good finish, but where is the marking? Where is the marking? Okay? It gets to him, he has a shot, and it clips in off the crossbar. He kind of just curls it in, but where's the marking? It's as simple as that. Josh Sargent, we give him his first goal of the season, and we make players bang average look like they're the next big thing. So, 1-0 down, head in your hands moment. We're like, no. We've got about 30 minutes to save our season. And what happens? Well, Norwich City get a second. I mean, I don't even know which way round it was, right? I don't even care at this point. But the lights go out, even though it wasn't that bad. We could see the pitch, right? We're not, impaired in terms of our vision. We can see the pitch. The players can see the pitch. But before the lights went out, it was blindingly bright. It was Friday night football. Let's put on a show, bright. And it didn't need to be. So that's a whole 15 minutes just sitting around waiting for the, utilities people to work out and sort out the lights and sort out the maintenance. When really, what we came to the conclusion was, okay, it should be bright enough for us to play, so we'll just get on with it rather than abandoning the game. But we took 15 minutes to work that out, and we thought that could have been to our advantage because Norwich were starting to feel confident after that Sargent goal, but it turns out it made it even worse. Norwich get their second, and it's that man again, Josh Sargent. It's as if we didn't even try. I mean, Dennis. I mean, we get him to not go to AFCON based on a email technicality, and Dennis wasn't assured of starts. He made the decision after that. Watford felt they were in their right to keep Dennis, but he might as well have gone, to be honest, because in the times that he would have been at AFCON, right, that would have been after Tottenham, he would have left. So he's got Newcastle, nothing doing there, Norwich City and Burnley. Those are the 3 games he would have missed. And then he would have been back, if he'd have been at AFCON, he probably would have been back for the game against West Ham. But no, instead, he does nothing against Newcastle, gets sent off against Norwich, and misses Burnley. I mean, what is that? What is that? I will talk about this yellow card because I think the first one in the first half is interesting, right? It's fair to say in the first half, Norwich, they bought a lot of free kicks. Now, I'm not saying the responsibility today falls on Mike Dean because it certainly does not. He had a very standard game. Nothing too wrong with that. But it's a yellow card that's harsh, I think is the way to put it. It's a 50-50 challenge. Both players go in for the ball. And the Norwich player ducks out of it and jumps away, convulsed in pain, when really it was a challenge that the Norwich player went in for himself. And on another day, that should have easily been maybe nothing from either of them, or at least a yellow card for both, right? So I don't think, Dennis, there was any malicious intent in that. But being on a yellow card, you've got to be very, very cautious. And it's silly, that second yellow, because it's just needless. It's an area of the pitch, doesn't need to happen. And Dennis, the one man you say at 1-0, maybe we can get back into the game, or at 2-0, maybe we can find a slimmer of hope to... But the problem was, right, even before Norwich got their second goal, there was no sign of us even getting remotely close to testing gun. I mean, we had one header in the first half, the tamest of headers from Cabaselli from across. But Gunn might as well have been the fourth choice Norwich goalie. It doesn't matter that Tim Krul's out today, because there was no threat. And the one chance I think we did have that I thought, oh, maybe this could be an opportunity, was in the first half, and Musa Sissoko's shot was blocked. That's just how little we've had to feed on today. So Dennis is off. Right, game plan out the window. Just got a whole lot harder. And I don't know if this was when it was 2-0 or when it was just before, but equally, Sargent gets his second. And this, my friends, is ridiculous, right? The guy that scores the first goal, the first of his season, again, we can't stop the threat that's obvious, that's right in front of us. Across from the right-hand side, it was right in front of our end at the family stand, and I could see it. I could see it from a mile off. I literally called out in vain to Kiko Feminia to stop the cross. Get out to him, quick. And he can't. It's crossed in, and it's towards the American Josh Sargent, and honestly, it feels like it was just in 3D. It feels like it was in IMAX slow motion, because I saw that ball whiz through the air, and the defender for Watford, I don't know who it was, but he got out jumped, and it felt like it was just Sargent had rocket in his boots. He jumped above him like there was no way that the defender was going to get there, and it was a towering header, but there's no right for him to get that, and it's bouncing down. It's so far out, and Backman still can't get over the top of the ball and save it, and it goes in for the second Norwich goal. And conceding 2 to Norwich is getting desperate. But then we concede 3. An own goal for the substitute Juraj Kucka. And at 2-0, it was like, can we even get a sympathy goal? Can we even get that low? Just some kind of thing to take away any embarrassment from this game. But no, nothing. It was just all negative tonight. And an own goal for Juraj Kucka. It's a cross in from that right-hand side for Norwich. But again, defensively, where is the communication, man? We've got 2 defenders sitting at the back of the defence at the same position. We're not picking up a man. We're just watching. We're ball watching. And Juraj Kucka just puts his foot out. And it's just like, well, what's the point? You know, it's just no defensive organisation at all. I'm beyond words. I'm beyond words tonight. A game we should have been up for, we have utterly thrown away. We've put it in the bin, and it's going to rot for the next week until we have Burnley, which I don't see us. Even if it goes ahead, right? Third time lucky. Even if it goes ahead, I don't see how we win that game. Don't see how we win against West Ham. Don't see how we win against Brighton. This was the last game where we'd say, okay, I could see an alternative universe where we win this game. But now we've run out of chances. We've run out of second chances, and now we've got, you know, just the rest of the season to save. But Ranieri, I don't see him surviving. I just do not see him surviving with the way the Pozzos work. And just to think, after Newcastle, I was thinking, yes, new lease of life. come into this, as long as we win, that's all right. That's all right. We wanted that, didn't we? We said this. As long as we got 7 points from Burnley, Norwich, Newcastle, that would do. That would do nicely. You know, we were outside the bottom. We were somehow worse off than most teams, but not worse off than these 3 teams. But now, we're in the bottom 3 for the first time this season. And all we had to do tonight was not lose. We needed to win. It was a must win. And we've lost spectacularly. It beggars belief. It really, really does. And, you know, as I say, Cucho Hernandez came on, hit the crossbar, but really nothing. And the Vicarage Road Stadium was a graveyard towards the end. And you do not blame anyone. I mean, this was supposed to be Graham Taylor match day. As Musa Sissoko rightly said in his piece he sent out to the Watford fans, we want every seat to be filled. And it was. But if you're putting in performances like that, then don't bother. Don't bother, because that was disgraceful. Daniel Bachmann, I mean, when the team sheet came out, I was like, wow, it's not Foster, is it? I was thinking, well, surely we'll give Bachmann the benefit of the doubt. It's Norwich City. You know, there's got to be a point when we get a clean sheet this season. It's not happening. It's not happening. We're going to break the record for clean sheets of not having any. We're going to go past West Brom. It's like we're trying to win an award for something. Whether it's good or bad, we don't care. Daniel Bachmann, I mean, a penny for his thoughts. Left back, Hassan Kamara, sloppy today. I thought first half, his touches were off. Second half, I mean, Dennis should have gone to AFCON. Let's not be. That was the scenario that should have happened, right? I know that we thought it was best, and we were well within our rights to do it because of what happened with the email thing. But man, he should have just been given a bit of headspace. It's not to say that we don't have the squad depth. We've got Cucho, we've got Pedro. Obviously, you want Dennis where you can, but it just feels like it's a toxic atmosphere at the club now. I don't understand how that happens in the space of a week. A game where you feel like it's a win for not losing against Newcastle, and now you feel like anything, a goal, not even a win, you expect to lose now every game, and a goal feels like a win, but it's not nowhere near enough to get us out of this relegation zone. I mean, someone in the world, just one FPL manager, triple captained Josh Sargent, so fair play to them, but what's the point? What is the point? So yeah, Kamara, not great today, but second half, I mean, he was alright, he was doing his best. There was a couple of crosses he put in with decent delivery, but look, no one in the box. Samir today, look, he struggled. I thought he looked really decent against Newcastle. He was very, very composed, went about his business very professionally, and went unnoticed because he did the job against Newcastle. But today, he looked nervy. The whole defence looked nervy. Cabaselli, I thought, looked uncharacteristic. It was just too much of a risk to put him in. Maybe we should have played Sierralta, but he's at least played more recently. But then you'd argue Sierralta's been less confident recently. So we really did not have a wealth of riches, really. With Cathcart out, we don't know why. Foster out, we don't know why. We assume COVID or maybe injury, but we need Cathcart back. We need Cathcart back for Burnley. That's all I'm going to say. Kiko Feminia, first half, I thought quite decent. Second half, I mean, look, first half, we were just bang average. Nothing special. A bit of a non-starter. But second half, I can't name a single Watford player that impressed. And I can't name a single Watford player that just did their job. Other than maybe Kayembe. You know, he was trying things. He was driving forward at times, trying to pass forward. But so many passes today, other than Kayembe, were just so misplaced. It's like, surely that's the number one thing you practice on the training ground. Passing the football. Whenever we get the ball back, it's like, yeah, let's try a forward pass. But the amount of times today, Kiko was on the right, and it was like, okay, let's try the most ambitious ball we can. Let's get Kiko to clip it down the wing and make King run onto it miles away from where he is. Let's just calm it down. Let's simplify it. Let's not make this more of a mess than it needs to be. But we give away the ball every single time. Norwich have it back, and we give them a boost. We give them a little boost of, oh yeah, here's the ball. Let's see what you do with it, Norwich. Absolutely awful. But look, Kiko, he tried his best in the second half. You feel for him because he is one of those players that still keeps going. On the left-hand side, Emmanuel Dennis, calamitous. Sending off. We know he had disciplinary problems. We took that risk. He's certainly been a risk that's paid off this season. He's been unbelievable scoring goals, but tonight he was nowhere. And I don't remember having me a shot. I don't remember him having a single shot on goal, which is just so strange from him, who's always involved. He loves to cut inside, but always asks too much of it, right? Just sometimes make the pass, make the cross. Just don't try and always cut inside and always have to shift it, but he does, and he loses the ball. Midfield, it was the perfect midfield. You know, Ranieri's done his job well. He's chosen the right three players, but cleverly today, he's had another passenger game, another game where you wouldn't notice he was there, and that's not often what Cleverley does. He's often so authoritative in the midfield, but look, goes off at half time, I think it was, or just before or after half time, and we bring on, I can't even remember who we brought on. We brought on Ken Semmer at some point in the game. We brought on Kuchar, as I mentioned. We brought on Kutzka as well. What a great substitution that was, not. So, like, yeah, I don't know. It feels a bit lost at sea, to be honest. And Cleverley looked a little bit like that. Sissoko, not great. Had a shot, was blocked. Was trying his best, but the captain today, I think, will be ordering them to buck up their ideas, because it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And then finally, obviously, in that midfield, I mean, look, Kayembe, I thought he was our best player today, and that's really showing how desolate and desperate it was, because he didn't do a lot, Kayembe, but, you know, we struggled all game. Joao Pedro, another off game from him today, and I know that's weird, because he's been in great form. He's had an unbelievable run of games. Great game against Leicester in the FA Cup. Great game against Newcastle. But today, it was just, I don't know. He had no service, no chances. It was just all stripped back. It was all stripped back today, and it felt like it was just, it was uncharacteristic. And Pedro, at least he was trying, I guess, but there was no end product at all. And you could tell Pedro was getting frustrated. The amount of times that he was just trying things and it wasn't coming off. And there was no one. There's no options, right? When we break into the final forward, there was no options, no movement. We were all so static. We were waiting for things to happen. We weren't trying to work out how best to make them happen. And Pedro, you feel for him. You really do. Joshua King, I mean, better than Emmanuel Dennis, better than Pedro today, but still very, very quiet. How many times, though, do we say this? Get our strikers into the game more. Get our strikers in behind. But it feels like we have to do a miracle to actually get them into the match and get them involved. Like, the crossing today, as I mentioned, just so poor. Like, how many times did we just not find any Watford player? We just find the head of a Norwich defender and he heads it away. Just shambolic. I honestly, I just don't know where we go from here. I think this is a season, you know, defining moment that we look back on and say, this is probably where it all went wrong. Look, it's not over. The season's not over. We've got to remember that. We've got to remember it's a 38-game season. It's not a 20 game season or whatever it is. We've still got 3 games in hand, but if we play like that every week, then there's only one way we're going, and that's bottom of the table. That's to the Championship. So, to summarise, I know it's been a long one, but I just had to get my thoughts off my chest because it was plaguing me. It was plaguing me. To summarise, look, Ranieri, I do not see a future in which we have him for Burnley. And I don't think that's his fault. I think it's just the players need to apply themselves better. I think Ranieri, people argue that it wasn't a good appointment because of what happened at Fulham. But, I don't know. I honestly think it was just they weren't up for it. They weren't up for it as a unit, and maybe that's a pre-match thing, maybe that's a personal player thing, but not good enough at all. Sema today, when he came on, really didn't make an impact at all. As I said, Cucho wasn't too bad, but no, it was beyond hope beyond that point. And who do we get in? Big Sam? Do we get in an ex-Watford manager like Savicia Kanovic? I don't even know. There's no one available, or even Rafa Benitez. Do we stoop that low? But look, the point I'm saying is we might have to strip back the basics and just think, let's start the 2021-22 season. Let's get a new manager in, because I don't see Pozzo's persevering. I mean, look, I think he's hanging on by a thread now, Ranieri, not because of his fault, but because of the way we lost, the manner of that defeat. And he's hanging on by the thread of that point we got at Newcastle. If we'd have lost Newcastle as well, it would have been announced like 10 minutes after the game. It hasn't been announced as far as I'm aware so far. But look, we might have to wait and see what happens. I've been Roberto the Hornet. Thanks for watching. Just give a like on it, at least, if not at nothing else. Just a bit of sympathy for the Hornets, a bit of sympathy for us Watford fans, because tonight was not the night we wanted. It was so much set out to be much better than that. A night that could change our season, to keep us afloat, but we have drowned miserably into the bottom three. So we go again for Burnley. It's been rescheduled so many times. I mean, Burnley will probably get Cornet back for then, so they've really just cheated the system. They've probably signed a forward by then to replace Wood. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is absolute joke. So we'll see you next time. Let's hope we get a new Watford team next time. Bye-bye. Man of the match? No chance am I giving a man of the match tonight. Disgraceful.